Okay, so what we have here is our little project for today is the carburetors off my 66 Porsche. They are Dellorto carburetors that I got in the 80s when I couldn't make the original Solexes run properly. I don't know how much of that was worn out Solexes or was how much of me not knowing what I was doing. So, got these out of a Doom Buggy catalog. I would have preferred Weber's, but they were like, at the time, they were like $700 for a kit. And I was able to get this kit with the manifolds, the air cleaners, all that for like $350. And when you're in high school, that's a pretty good change. The car was starting hard. You'd have to dump fuel down the carburetors. And then it had a kind of a flat spot on acceleration sometimes. Wasn't sure what was going on. I've never been in these carbs, but what I did do a couple weeks ago, I went ahead and pulled them off because they're pretty easy to get off. And I already filmed all this once, but apparently it's gone. So I'm going to kind of walk you back through what I found. So let me whip the top off here real quick. Get this stuff out of the way before it goes flying. So what I had found originally was that the accelerator pumps weren't working. See that fuel chute out of there? That's the accelerator pump squirting out. What I had found and showed on the previous video is that the discharge nozzles were clogged. So that would make it difficult to start because these don't have chokes. So to give it a little extra boost, you have to shoot some fuel down there with the gas pedal before you start it. So I was able to take them apart and clean them out and get them running. But I went ahead and ordered gasket sets. I got them on eBay. Got a pair, I think, for 30 bucks, which I thought was a pretty good deal because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get them anymore. It comes with the gaskets, needle and seat, accelerator pump, diaphragm. So we're just going to go through and clean them out real well and replace all these gaskets. Start with, these screws come off the top, and this top will pull off, and then we'll go from there. So I'll bring you back when I've got this apart. Okay, got these screws out of the top. They've got a little lock washer on there. It kind of stays down in the recess. It's something I missed before. So there's the top, has the floats and the needle and the seat mounted in it. We'll get to that in a little bit. So down inside in the float bowl, I don't know if you can see in there, but it's pretty muddy. So we're going to scrub that out real well, spray that out. What I discovered when I initially took these apart, the accelerator pump diaphragm's down here, but it runs through passages that run up here, over, and in. What I found when I originally did this, was what my whole problem was, behind this screw is the accelerator pump discharge nozzle, and the hole is right in here in the bottom, and it's super tiny. You wouldn't be able. I can't even see it now, but there it is. Those little dots. Those are the holes. They were clogged, so this part actually pops out. There's a little spring and a check ball kind of thing in there, and that's where my problem was. So I got all that cleaned out. I actually, once I took that carburetor off here, I was going on, I was able to do this on the car, and get it working. At that point I went ahead and ordered kits. So let me go ahead and pull the other side out. So those are out. Pull these plugs out and clean these passageways out. I like to use as big a screwdriver as I can on these little brass plugs because nothing more aggravating than someone comes in here and rounds those things out and you're in here with vice grips or whatever trying to get them out. So I always try to make sure I'm not that guy. And I believe there are check balls in here too. Check ball and this little weight. That's what makes all that work. Shoot a little carb cleaner down in there. Shoot some in there. And I should probably get some safety glasses for this. So let me go hunt some of those down. I'll be right back. Okay, got some safety glasses. I squirted some carb cleaner down in here and tried to break up some of this mud. I took one of these little flux brushes, and one of the tricks I saw online was to shave it down a little bit so it's a little stiffer. It seems to work to get some of the junk out of the bottom. I mean, it's not horribly crusty, but I don't know, it's just dirty. So I don't know if that's rust, what that is. I had that tank coated 20 some years ago, but it's been sitting. As everything, it needs to be driven more. So we're gonna, that's pretty good. I sprayed out all these little passages. Now we'll go after the I guess it's the accelerator pump nozzle, metering nozzle down here in the bottom. See if I can get it out of there. Okay, I got that guy out of there, and it's another check ball setup. And it looks like there's a gasket buried down in there too. Got a pick here. I don't know if you can see that, that's what I'm after. Little rubber O-ring. Hopefully there's one of those in the kit. Pretty sure there is. So we'll spray some more of that muck out of there. And right here is the accelerator pump itself and the diaphragm. The good thing is I'm the only one that's ever owned these, and I'm 99% sure I've never been in here, so everything should be right as far as the way it came from the factory. And a little persuasion, or a lot. Nothing really to get a hold of here. There we go. Okay, so there's the accelerator pump diaphragm. Yeah, it's got a ton of mud in the bottom of that thing. Look at that. So we'll do some scrubbing on that in a second. But while we're here, let's go ahead and pull the rest of these things out. those don't appear to have any sort of gasket on them. So adjustment screws, count the turns in, half, 1, 1.5, a little bit, about 2. So back that guy out of there. That needle's got a little spring-loaded deal and an O-ring on there, and that thing is tiny. So, before I get too far ahead of myself, let me spray these out. And I'm going to start reassembling this side, so don't forget where everything goes. So I'll bring you back when I've got the kit open and got some parts to go back together. Okay, got that mud cleaned out of the accelerator pump area. Took the other idle mix jet out, cleaned it out. It's got this little tiny O-ring. Got the kit laid out here. Not a lot to it, some O-rings, gaskets. Anyway, just kind of match up the O-ring. That's the tiniest one in the kit. Just slides on the end. Goes back in. Go set it back to about 2 turns out. That's about what it was. Half, 1, 1.5, 2. Okay, now we'll go after the accelerator pump. This is the old one. It wasn't shot, but well, you can see where it was submerged. While I've got it, I might as well put a new one in there. Stuff's been in here 30 years. Whoops, there's a slot on here that's got to line up with the arm. And where the spring go? There it is. Spring goes on there. Goes down in the hole like that. Line up the slot on top, and get the slot in the arm in. Now it's just a matter of making sure it's flat and you don't pinch or tear anything. Pretty sure the one with the tag came out of this hole. Get it started. And they all do have little tiny flat washers on them you don't want to lose. And these are, I believe they're Dellorto, right there it says DRLA, and they're 40 millimeter Venturis. I guess it's blasphemy having Italian carburetors on a Porsche, but it is what it is. It seems to work alright. We've got the original Solexes and the associated manifolds and air cleaners and all that up in the attic still, and they're probably gold now. And there may have been nothing wrong with them. Just didn't know what I was doing then, but for right now these work, so we'll just clean them up, put them back on there. It should solve a lot of the running problems that car had. Okay, accelerator pump's back together. Now we'll go up in the top here. The accelerator pump squirter has a little O-ring on it. Find that one. That's that guy right there. It's too big. We'll try this one. Not that one. We'll go even smaller. Bam, there's that one. There's that one, and they also have a little paper gasket right there. New ones are in the kit. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a flat on this thing, and that is what needs to point a certain direction for it to work properly. It's the top, I believe. Actually, go ahead and spray this out while I got it out. Ball in there. The ball's on the other side. Get the gasket on, put that back together. Just kind of line it up. What I found before is it will not go if it's not, the thing will not screw in if it's not lined up right. There's that one. There's that little paper gasket. Give this a little shot. Good. Whoops. Fish that guy out of there. He didn't go across the room. Line it up. These jets will come out the top. There's an O-ring right there. There's a little friendly pick. Try not to put it through my finger. Peel that off. Easier said than done. Let's try going on that way. That's the biggest one there. All right. Anyway. You don't need to see me fight with this O-ring. I'll get this one on here, and I'll go ahead and do the other one. There we go. Let's see what's under here. Nothing we need to replace, but we'll hose that thing off. I think this is an emulsion tube. Alright, so we will repeat with the other side, and I'll bring you back when there's something else to see. Okay, I put most of this stuff back together and decided I would test it, so I poured a little fuel down in the bowl, and it started pouring out. What the heck? Coming out of the Accelerator Pump gasket, and I don't know why you guys didn't tell me, but apparently I missed this whole corner when I put it back together. So I pulled it back off, and it was curled under. It didn't seem to be damaged, so I flattened it back out, put it back together, primed it with fuel, and now we have a functioning accelerator pump, which is a problem from the start. So while we got it, we'll go after the needle in the seat, which lets fuel into the carburetor. It's right there underneath the float. We got a new one, so might as well change it. If I save it, I'll never find it again. There's two screws that hold this on, but one thing there is that I've never seen before is there's a little tiny like E-clip on one of these screws. Only one of them. The other one's got the groove, but just one has the E-clip. So take a pick, try to pop that thing off there without sending it across the room. I sent it down there somewhere. Maybe in the carburetor. Anyway, we'll find that. The screws come out. Easy for me to say, right? Okay. There's one. Okay, so I'm going to be that guy that strips out that screw. Get something I can push against a little more. Not that. Alright. Broke that loose. Set that aside. Pull the float out. There is the needle and the seat. And there was a wrench here somewhere. That is a 9mm. That thing pops out of there, and there is a little gasket underneath it. I'll try to pick that thing out of there. Okay, there's that. The gasket drops in. New needle and seat. This part has a new gasket. This old one ought to pop off here. Some of that junk out of there. There's the new gasket. It's just a little bit of silicone spray just to kind of lubricate this so it flattens itself out, keeps itself lined up properly. So when I tighten it down, it won't get pinched or anything. Okay, now we go hunting for that E-clip that I said I wasn't going to lose. So, we'll bring you back when I find that thing. Okay, so that's the E-clip. I fished out of the float bowl. It was staring up at me. So, and I lied to you, this other screw doesn't have the groove on it, only this one does. So, now we will see if we can get that thing back on there without shooting it across the room again. Try some needle nose to get it in there. Okay. So that's pretty much it. Put the top back on. I got new gaskets for the base. I'll wipe that junk off there. And then I'll show you. The top goes on. There's, see if I got any extra parts. Doesn't look like it. Give it a little shot of top. Turn it the right way. Drops right on. And I think there's 5 of these screws that go on the top. A little lock washer. They're kind of recessed. So we'll get this back together and we'll put them on the car and do a little startup sequence. Bring you back when it's ready.